Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of our Throwdown E3 specials. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm here with Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How you doing?
All right. We hope some people are in the chat right now because we need to do a little bit. We're doing some like weird. I'm trying to make up a word here. Thingamajingering here.
You just say it's another test.
Yeah, we're doing yet another test. This is like PlayStation Home. We're never out of beta.
Yeah.
You know, right now we're actually using like my laptop, right? And Manny's Samsung thing. But we don't know if we actually hear us. So let me know if you can hear me or not. I'm gonna go into the chat room right here, and once we confirm that you guys can hear us, then we'll start the show proper and all that, you know. Because even tell me watch Throwdown live.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Stupid ad. That's funny.
Once we confirm that you guys can hear us, then we'll...
Wait, that does confirm it right there.
Yep, there we
Never
go.
mind.
There we go.
I confirmed it myself. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so tonight we're talking about nice. All right, shout out to Carlos Romero, Daniel J, Gorilla Gamer, Aljira, Crystal Bear. All right, so we're gonna hear, we're here to talk about Sony, so another really good conference. Here's what I like about Sony. I'm just getting right to it. These motherfuckers put on a show, right? Like everybody else, Xbox, Ubisoft, Bethesda, they do traditional like shows, right? Where somebody comes on stage to present the game, they show the game, then another presenter comes out, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Sony like puts on an actual show. There's fucking curtains, explosions, lights, people hanging from the rafters. I am not making this shit up.
Yeah.
Curtains, it's like snowflakes, nuts, like a real show. Even like the sitar shit in the beginning. So, with Sony, they don't do the traditional thing, which I appreciate. So it was just wall-to-wall games. The only person that was on stage, correct me if I'm wrong, was Sean Layden. He was like the only guy. He shows up at the beginning.
And the hanging people.
Yeah, and the hanging people.
And the sitar people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That was it. No Hideo Kojima this year.
No.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to you first. What were your highlights?
I would have to say like seeing the Shadow of the Colossus actually remastered, confirmed, which a lot of the rumors had been flying around, especially since Sony recently just relicensed the Shadow of the Colossus name. So they're not saying this is Shadow of the Colossus remastered, just saying Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, I guess that I'm gonna like maybe expose myself as a bad gaming journalist. I didn't even know about this shit.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, I saw them like, wait, I saw the bridge, right? I'm like, wait a minute, a Shadow of Colossus.
Yep.
I had no idea they were making this game. It's your favorite company, man. Blue Point.
It's Blue Point. Blue Point usually does an incredibly good job, so I have no question as to how this game will be just a really nice remaster of that.
Yeah.
And also, it was nice to see finally see some more Spider-Man stuff.
Spider-Man.
Some actual gameplay stuff, which is great.
Yeah, that was good. It was interesting because it was like a mix of like gameplay and like cinematic gameplay and stuff. So, this is gonna sound really weird, but I'm gonna be honest. I miss QuickTime cutscenes, so I'm glad this game's bringing them back. And
let's see what else was in there. It was I wouldn't say it was a highlight, but it was nice to see it. It's Monster Hunter.
Yes,
I knew what it was. Me and Tony knew.
Yeah, we caught that shit like
everybody went woo, and they were like, I think they were a little unsure as to what it was. But I'm like, oh, this is Monster Hunter.
We're excited, but we don't know what it is.
Yes, and then it was like, and then they went when they finally saw the name. They went, oh,
yeah.
It's Monster
Hunter. I was like 90% sure it's Monster Hunter, but when I saw that big dragon thing, I'm like, yep, that's Monster Hunter. Because isn't that like the signature monster or something?
Yeah, that Tyrannosaurus Rex looking thing, and Rathalos showed up in it, so that should have been the sign as to what it was.
Hey, I guess PlayStation guys haven't played a Monster Hunter game in who knows how many generations.
Well, I mean, unless they're playing it on Wii, but the good.
They ain't playing on Wii. They're PlayStation guys.
The crazy thing is that it's like, okay, finally we're beyond the PlayStation 2 version of Monster Hunter.
Man, yeah, because every single version of that game, even the ones on 3DS, they're all the PlayStation 2 version of that game.
Yeah, all it is just like stuff added on top of stuff from the PlayStation 2 version. So now this is going to be their new, everything's all done up new. Which is what's interesting about it is that I asked the question. It says it's Monster Hunter World. So does that mean it's like an open world? type of situation, because the Monster Hunter games aren't really fully open world.
By the way, quickly, Young Savage goes, "You're streaming from the flip phone." Man, we on my Chromebook, motherfucker. This ain't no flip phone.
No.
You know. By the way, this is the third computer we've used for these because Nash, you know, he's supposed to be our co-host, but he's our party with the coalition guys.
Yeah.
We used his MacBook this morning. It turned out really well, but he's not here, so we're doing this. So take it how you will.
So now we're doing it off of his Chromebook, which has better video quality than my PC. Obviously,
yeah,
which
exactly.
We've all complained about. So now we're doing kind of a Frankenstein version where it's like you're using the microphone from my computer running the stream, and then Tony's camera. So if you notice, Tony, I don't know if it says on the screen that Tony's muted, but
yeah, I'm muted. Yeah, I don't think they can see it, but I have to mute myself and stuff. Delta Boy 804 says, "I teared up watching the last Shadow of the Colossus."
It was good to see the Shadow of the Colossus again. I mean, granted, you realize that game is what, over 15 years old, right? No,
something like that. It's
an old game.
Yeah.
It's a PlayStation. It's a last generation thing. Yeah, I think it is close to 15 years old because it's 10 years from the. No,
it's like 12 years. It was 2005.
Yeah, so
correct me if I'm wrong, people.
Yeah, it literally was the beginning of the PlayStation 3 era. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, again, Spider-Man. What I liked about Spider-Man was like he had weight to them. Like one of my problems with every Spider-Man game, even the classic Spider-Man 2, was like he didn't seem to have any weight to him, like in combat, swinging around. So this one he seems heavy.
I like that they kept on with Spider-Man. They always had him do like he'd do a move and he'd always come out like a pose.
Yeah,
I was like that's the way I always feel like Spider-Man would move. Like he'd just be landing like the crouch down and stuff. So like they really like that they got that. There was those. Brett would be happy about this. Is a bunch of VR games.
Let's talk about the VR stuff. Because this is the only part of the show where I felt it kind of went down a little. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, because Brett's always talking about, we need to have more third person VR games, and they showed quite a few of them here.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
That game with the mouse in it.
Yeah,
where I guess you control like you're some sort of weird god thing, and you kind of control and move things around. There was a couple of other ones that were in there which looked interesting. So. Again, they're still supporting it, which is very, very cool. Yeah.
So that's again, that was in there. We got to talk about God of War.
Yeah.
That was really good. You got to hear more of Christopher Judge talking and stuff. Again, we were talking about this the other day. Even though we obviously love T.C. Carson, right? He's doing a voice, right? He's like, I am the God of War. Like he doesn't talk like that,
Yeah.
Christopher Judge, he's just talking normal, because I'm pretty sure they wanted and to be a little bit more serious, right?
Yeah, they don't want kind of I feel like that's the general consensus with a lot of the voice acting or voice acting / motion capture acting. They don't want kind of actors that feel very cartoony or very voicey.
Yeah.
So like a guy like like David Hayter.
Yeah.
He sounds very voicey. It works for when you're doing that sort of stuff, but I think they want a little bit of a different quality from it. So Christopher Judge naturally has a deep voice.
Yeah, and he's pretty good with stunts, being a Stargate and all that, And that dude is big.
I'm sure Kratos. I mean, also the one other thing is that, you can't fake the heaviness of a person when they're doing motion.
Yeah.
Like if you're a lighter guy and you're playing this big burly dude, you kind of have to slow it down. But Christopher Judge, he's kind of built like Kratos.
Yeah.
The dude looks like Kratos.
Yeah, exactly.
Paint his face pale.
It's funny, for years we always said Christopher Judge should be Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because he has those apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
But yeah, God of War was awesome. Like I like seeing all the Norse mythology stuff. They even had the world serpent in there. But the twist was like this world serpent's gonna help you, maybe. I don't know, because Kratos is usually just killing everything, but maybe he's a new Kratos.
I don't know. Something about we don't know the whole story, why he has a son or any of that sort of stuff. So there's a big question mark. They showed a lot of his combos and fights and stuff.
Yeah, he has that frost sword now.
Yeah, he has a
frost axe, which is pretty cool.
It looks cool. I mean, it looks like they showed a bit more like climbing and shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I guess again, the kid is your buddy in this. So
I just made up a theory. Mm-hmm. I think that kid is the like one of the kids that you have with those like chicks you have those sex mini games with.
Kratos must have a lot of illegitimate.
Yeah, he
children.
probably does, exactly.
And in the thing, they also kind of introduced that one bit where it's like, the kid saying he might be cursed. So I'm like, huh, interesting. How would he be cursed?
Yeah.
Does that mean that he would have to like Kratos, like he would wear the ashes as well?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that he could pass on? The curse that he had on him from what's her face?
Yeah, like because he was wearing the ashes of his wife or daughter and stuff. One thing that's interesting, they didn't talk about in this trailer, but like because it's all Norse mythology, right? But it's not like the Norse mythology we kind of know about. It's like because the Norse mythology we know about, it's all fully formed, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, this is way in the past, so it's like they said it's like the ancient version of Norse mythology, So we'll see. And by the way, did you see Thor's hammer in there?
Yeah,
I think it was fucking huge.
Like 20 million feet tall,
yes.
like a building.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting on that respect. Like, I want to know how much research they did, like, to reach what was the proto version of Norse mythology and stuff. But they even said it's like, why are you here? You're far away. Our gods don't like you, But yeah, that's pretty cool. And then they had that whole like sequence with the world serpent was coming out and stuff. The combat that looked good, man. I want that fucking game. And they said early 2018,
so
right?
We said at the same time. Maybe February.
Yeah, February, March. I'm leaning towards March because every other main God of War game came out in March.
Then there's Days Gone.
Yeah, the zombie game.
Game.
Just be honest, a zombie game. But I did like the fact that this version of the demo didn't focus too much on the on the zombies. Aspects. And I think you were in that trailer.
Yeah, they're looking for Manny in that one.
Yeah.
I know Dio. Said a little something about that on
Shout out to Dio. That's funny. Yeah, but it seems like you could use the zombies like against the humans and stuff.
That's cool. I mean, that's some things that you wanted to do in Last of Us. Using the cordyceps zombies against the people. So that's kind of cool. You can do that sort of stuff. But yeah, for me. I'm not a big into zombie games. Like I know that even the Microsoft the conference even had a bit of a zombie game in there too. I'm like, again. Yeah. Oh, Kal-El,
he goes. Are you guys gonna get to play some games over there? Tomorrow's when it starts.
I got to play some games while out.
Yo, man, you crazy? What you playing? You playing games at E3?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I played because. For press, they had a special area separated off for us.
Yeah.
So there was just a bunch of game stations there. A lot of the stuff they had there. Yeah. They had a lot of the stuff they had there. They had Knack 2, which wasn't shown at the conference.
Wait, you got to play it?
Yeah, Knack 2 was there.
Okay, world premiere preview of Knack 2 right now, only on Throwdown. Okay, so wait, how was it?
I mean, it felt very much the same as what the original Knack
was
like. It was just like a little bit more of a solid version of what
Interesting.
So yeah, Knack 2 was playable there. I got to play Dissidia.
Everybody was playing that.
That was like right next to it. We were installed over there. And they also had Detroit, which I didn't get to sit on.
Oh, they also had I saw some racing shit.
Yeah, there was Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
So they had a pretty good bunch of stuff there. I mean, I was saying to the guys yo, you guys should play this shit while we're here because once we get to the show floor, it's gonna get a little hard.
Yeah. So just to break it down for everybody. So basically, this was a little bit of a reverse of last year. Mm-hmm. Last year we hung out outside like usual. Hung out outside, food and drink and all that. Mm-hmm. Then we went inside, saw the show. And afterwards, they took us into this other room, and they showed, they had more demos, and they had demos and food. This one was as soon as they put us inside first, and like Manny said, there was all demos and stuff, food in there. Everybody was mingling, and then they take us to the main show, and then after that, it was over.
Yeah, So it was cool to kind of get it in there and play some games. They had this big PlayStation type sculpture there, and you come in through like a triangle.
Yeah. Wait, you mean the featured image that we haven't used yet, but we will?
Whichever feature image we might use.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a cool conference. But I noticed that there's a lot of disappointment as this conference.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a bit. But hold on, are we missing anything else?
There was.
Oh yeah, they showed War. Oh yeah, by the way, okay, you know me, man. We don't give a fuck about the World War II game, but I did like the presentation for it. There were bombs and shit going off on the stage. You know,
wake you up a little bit.
You're like, whoa, what the fuck? That was pretty crazy. Destiny 2, they had the banners come down and some like sprinkles and shit.
Oh yeah, the God of War had like snow. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it kind of had like a cool 3D effect too, because like you saw the snow in front, and then even had like snow in the background and all that. So that was Horizon expansion.
Yeah, a Horizon expansion.
Give me the cash.
I didn't expect to see a Horizon expansion on there, but it was cool. I mean, and there was also they say, yeah, from what we read, it was an expansion. It's not like
it's not just like expansions are DLC, but DLC. It's not like just.
But they're not
DLC.
calling it DLC.
Yeah.
So which means it sounds like it's a whole other area of the map, like a whole other big area of the map. Wonder how much gameplay is in that.
And it's this year, people.
It's this year.
And
then also we saw the Uncharted Lost Legacy, right?
So is Uncharted now Tomb Raider?
Why?
Yeah.
Is it because of the ladies?
Yeah, because they got the women in there. Even Chloe has their hair like Laura now, But yeah, that looks good. I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be a longer game than you would think.
That's what my guess is. I thought it was gonna be like normal DLC length, maybe 4 hours.
Exactly.
Long. But it's looking like it's maybe it might be a 6-hour thing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There just seems to be a lot of development and things happening throughout this DLC.
I'm like, how long? Like, if it's 8, that'd be insane. But then again, the infamous one was like 8, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah. So, but it's a standalone deal, so you don't need the game.
Granted, it was not as long as the actual game was, but still.
Yeah. So that's good. We're probably missing something. So if you're, I'm looking at the chat right now. So let us know what else other games you want us to talk about. But yeah, you said you wanted to talk about the disappointing aspect, because again, we came out of we thought it was great. Like, yeah, granted, like all the not all, but like half the games, just like I predicted, half the games were games from last year, right? But people were disappointed because of things that weren't shown. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about that, because I think that's like wrong. It's like you can't deduct points or whatever. If you're judging on points, you can't deduct points because they didn't show shit. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you said you wanted to say something on the disappointment.
Yeah,
thing.
I thought it was, I can understand disappointment about it, because it was just like there wasn't many things that we didn't know were coming or weren't said at some point. I guess maybe that if you didn't see the copyright thing on the last not the Last Guardian, on the Shadow of the Colossus, obviously yes, you can say that one, but everything we kind of knew was coming. We knew Spider-Man was coming. We knew the Lost Legacy. We didn't know a Horizon one was coming.
Yeah, that was a complete surprise. Know anything
DLC was coming, because they didn't release. Did they say DLC? No, they never said in DLC expansion.
They said we'll give you. I mean, that game didn't even have a season pass or anything.
Yeah, so they give it to you when they give it to you. Then there's also like, we knew Call of Duty, we knew Destiny, we knew Spider-Man. So a lot of that stuff, and then some of the VR experiences were obviously not seen, but were you excited for those?
You know me, man. I'm not worried about that VR stuff.
They looked nice, like the one with the giant robot thing that looked kind of cool, and the mouse thing that looked good.
I liked how when they showed you the VR stuff, like the sides had like a specific pattern to them. It's like if you're looking,
they kind of visually separated it, and also obviously, it was cool to see the Skyrim on there, but it's kind of a given at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, I saw this on Twitter. I may butcher the joke, but it's like Skyrim is on X is now the equivalent of like Doom runs on X, because Doom ran on everything back in the day. So Skyrim is like, because now we have Skyrim VR, we have Skyrim on Switch, So I think that it's like penetrating everything. My question is it the full game in VR? Is it just like a little snippet? I
feel like it might be the whole. I think like because Skyrim is already on PS4, right?
No, it's on. It is on PS4. My bad. They just redid the remaster last year.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, could the Skyrim VR just be like a DLC patch to the one that you get? I hope it's not where you have to go and buy the damn thing again.
Yeah, no, that's stupid. They would never do that. So I'm pretty sure it's just like a pro patch.
Yeah.
Or not, it doesn't need to be a pro patch, but a patch. But yeah, again, I guess I kind of understand where people were like disappointed if you came in there expecting shit and you didn't get it. But at the same time, if you come in there expecting something, you're bound to be disappointed anyway. So you got to go in there just clean, you know, because do this thing. Oh, we didn't get a Sucker Punch game. We didn't get Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like, listen, that shit will come when it comes. You got to like judge the show on its own. And I think that's why Manny and I enjoyed the Microsoft thing. We weren't in there looking for shit. We were like, okay, what did they present?
Yeah.
And it was a good fucking show.
You know, I like the show, but I feel like this year it wasn't that very, like I don't feel like one was better than the other. I feel like they're
yeah. The only thing is, neither of them had any megatons.
No,
you know?
And I think that's maybe what people were expecting.
They expected
they're expecting to have their minds blown.
Yeah, I mean, last year was like a megaton year.
Yeah.
This year wasn't. Like to me, like whatchamacallit, the Shadow of the Colossus, that was a mini ton, but not a megaton. But I think we just hit on the head. I think they expected megatons and they didn't get them, so they're disappointed.
But
you know?
If you were looking at Reggie and Hip Hop Gamer,
yo, if you saw these two dudes going, like bowing down to PlayStation, that was Reggie and fucking Hip Hop.
And if you look close, you can see Charles Singletary going.
Yeah, he's like, and Tatiana's there, like just confused.
Just like, what's going
hilarious, man.
Bunch of characters right there.
It's crazy, but yeah, we're getting asked up questions like what are you guys going to be playing this week? I mean, there's some stuff, but I can't talk about it right now. Actually, I'm going to tell you this. I'll just say this one thing. One game that was shown here, I just got an email after it was announced that I'm going to get to play it. You know, because I already had made an appointment with this company, and they hit me up with the thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. By the way, let's talk about this. The same company. Wait, I'm going to rat them out right now. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't worry about that right now.
No, but the thing is, we have to talk about this game. They'll figure it out. They're smart. We got to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Because man, he's been having fun with those gifts those gifts and memes that are running around right now.
Man, I've been saying this from the beginning. The game, you know, I hate to say it, but the game does not look like the style of the game just looks nasty. And like now everybody seems to be realizing it, and they're putting out all these pictures of like, you know, like really bad pictures of Chun-Li and Dante and all that stuff from the game. I don't know, just the character models in that game just look, they were like, I remember they were saying, oh yeah, we changed the style to make them look a little more realistic. They don't look any more realistic. They just kind of look weird.
Look, my thing is like, because I played the game, right? And it looked fine, but every time I look at these cinemas, I'm like, ugh. And when I saw Chun-Li, I'm like, what did they do to her?
Yeah, like, you know, they showed pictures of Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield doesn't even look like himself, like even from the last Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. So I don't know. Style, it goes a long way, at least for me sometimes. And, you know, I didn't care for the last Marvel vs. Capcom, the 3D one.
Yeah.
So we'll see about this one.
Yeah. So, you know, what can you do? But the demo's out now, apparently.
Yeah, you can play the story demo right now, and you can. I'm sure that's where more of those horrible pictures of those characters are going to come from.
Kal-El says, the Dragon Ball game is what this one should have been. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. It's like this cartoon. We want these cartoony looking ones again, man.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's going to do it pretty much for the PlayStation portion of it. I enjoyed it, but we do have some stories for you. Manny has one in particular. Very funny story.
So this is how it's set up. We walked in, and we're all talking, and I just so happened to see Mark Cerny kind of walking through. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to get a quick handshake and say, oh, yeah, you did great work, blah, blah, blah. You know, usual bullshit. So I'm like, hey, Mark, how you doing? It's great to see you. And he's like, oh, I remember you. I'm like, really? And he's like, yes, from 2013, you were like a fan thing or media. And I'm like, yeah, I was. I was like, okay, so number one, it's like one of the things is like you do this sort of stuff for as long as we have, like since what, you know.
Yeah, it was in
2013,
2013 basically, 2013.
Yeah. And he remembered all the way back from 2013.
Yeah.
meeting us. Me and Tony have met Mark Cerny multiple times for a couple of seconds. You know, for half the time when you meet somebody, when you shake their hand really quickly, you just move on your way. You usually don't remember them.
Yeah.
But you remembered me, so it was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I still have that picture of him. He had a fantastic shirt on.
Yeah, this time, a lot of you guys always keep making fun of his shirts. This time he was Mr. Cool in his black collared shirt and black and a black jacket. So
yeah, and then
he's looking pretty swanky.
That's cool. Yeah, and I like Manny did that show. I was talking to my man Paul. I think I have it on Throwdown Takeover or whatever. Mm-hmm. What do we call the one where we go to other shows?
Yeah,
crossover. Yeah, because I was on his show. But the other thing was this one we can't tell the whole story, but we were hanging out with some of the Sony guys last night, right? Gio Corsi, a couple of the other guys, right? Cool dudes. We were hanging out at the JW. Everybody always hangs out there.
Yeah,
and Sean Layden shows up, right? Now, you guys know Sean Layden. He's like a pretty, straight guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't go off the cuff. He's very, I guess, reserved, right?
He's very business.
Yeah, he's very business. Like, again, we can't go into it, but we saw a different side of that man that night. He had a couple in him. This dude was a character.
Yeah, he's like, you know how this goes. And you do this, and then you know how it goes. It's like the way I'm going on Tony's shoulder like this. He's doing that to me. He's like, you know how it is, right? I'm like, all right, Sean Layden.
Yeah, it wasn't like, and I'm just gonna be honest right now. It wasn't like Cliffy B, who never even looked at us when he passed by. You know, like Sean, he treated us like we were just part of the whole crew. You know,
I mean, we kind of look like the rest of the guys. Like,
yeah, that is true. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Yeah, kind of rough looking.
You know.
Yeah, because it was me, Manny, and Nash. We were just hanging out. You got Gio and a couple of the PR guys that I met at PlayStation Experience. Good times. And who else? You ran into one guy from Marvel. Or something?
I ran into Bill from Marvel. Bill usually handles all of the Marvel game licenses. So this one guy, he deals with Telltale Games. He deals with the guys doing the Spider-Man game. Any one of those things he does. So, I was introduced by the guy who was one of the lead guys on the Marvel vs. Capcom game.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, you got to talk to this guy. He's really awesome, dude. He's like, we both work the same. I'm like, yeah, I've never met him before because, they don't usually let the freelancers talk to the guys. I literally told him, I was like, I'll introduce you, don't worry. So I was literally talking to him for a good 30 minutes about nerdy shit like Star Wars and all this stuff. The guy, and then, listening to talking to him, I was like, oh my god, wait, we worked at Marvel at the same time in the late 90s. He was in the advertising department and I was just an intern at the time. And he's like, oh yeah, I mentioned people that were working there at the time. So, oh yeah, I remember that. We used to do it. It was it was really, really cool to connect like that, because a lot of people, at least from when I interned at Marvel, they're not even there anymore.
Man,
they're gone. Like when I was there, they were literally firing people. Like sometimes you'd have a boss, and then it's like, boop, the boss is gone, and then you're on to somebody else as an intern. So it was cool. And he told me a really interesting story of how he kind of went through the ranks of Marvel.
Yeah,
where he kind of started in just doing one part of the part of the advertising department, and they got rid of two other bosses above him. Then he eventually got their jobs, and then. And just kept on moving upward and upward until he ended up into the video game department, the Marvel licensing and video game stuff. So really cool dude, good stuff.
Yeah, and like we told you last time, we went to hang out with Malik afterwards. Malik Forte and the fellas and stuff. Had some fun there. Lots of good E3 times were had yesterday.
Also, if you guys are watching the early stream, you would notice that Mr. Malik was also on the stage there doing his.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't get I wanted to get a photo, but he was already gone as soon as I tried to get over there and take a photo. But yeah, he's gonna be. I think we mentioned this before, but he's not only doing doing little pre-show things and stuff for their channels, but he's also going to be doing interviews on the stage.
Yeah, Malik's doing it, man.
So. Again, we were saying, it was before, he's still the same dude we always remembered. I mean, he kind of started doing this stuff around the same time as we did.
Yeah, pretty much, doing, he was on the YouTube end of it. And then he had Max Level, And now he's Mr. Superstar.
Yeah,
Fucking
he's a freelancer.
But at the
now.
end of the day, the guy's still the same. He hasn't changed. It's amazing, you know. And then before we wrap it up, I didn't get to see it too much because I was busy like writing. But Manny got to see most of it. Nash too. Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So what did you see? Because I just heard these guys talking. Like apparently they made Black Flag the video game.
Yeah, essentially they took the part of Black Flag, right? The whole boats and you're customizing boats and all that stuff. The pirate part of it, and they just literally just like made it its own game. It's what is it called? The Black Sails or something like that.
Yeah, Black Sails. Yeah, yeah.
It looks cool. Like it's a lot of people have called it like the big boys version of
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you get to ram the ships and everything. And I thought that looked cool. And then there was also stuff for Beyond Good and Evil too, which is interesting because this is the second time they've announced this game.
Yeah, right.
But
it's not Kickstarter, but it's crowdfunded.
It's somehow crowdfunded, which means that Ubisoft is not willing to commit to making this game. So they're like, "Hey, you want to donate money to make this game?" I'm like,
yeah.
All right.
By the way, I call bullshit on them. Like Ubisoft, you have a ton of fucking money. They just give them a little something.
It's because
they're gauging interest, aren't they?
They're gauging interest on it, and then the other thing is that the game didn't do very well.
Yeah,
at the time. It's a cult classic, and it's highly critically acclaimed, right?
Yeah, but nobody bought it.
But nobody bought it. It's like when we're talking about Ico or Eco.
Yeah,
it's a critically acclaimed game, but really nobody bought it. I'm sure the version that probably did the best is when they comped it with the Shadow of the Colossus collection,
Yeah, for sure.
So
and then they showed for Brian right here the crew.
Yep.
Some crazy. You guys were saying some crazy shit like that from helicopters.
They added all kinds of crazy new vehicles. So now not only do you have cars, but you have boats and planes. So they're like showing boats driving. Like I guess they put New York in there. So it's Manhattan. So they're driving the boats around Manhattan and flying the planes through the buildings in Manhattan. There's also like they had a part where they're driving cars on the freeways I think it's the Hudson River Drive. So yeah, it was crazy stuff. So I'm like, that looks cool. So and then I think I saw a Just Dance thing. Oh yeah, that crazy thing about Just Dance.
What? Just
Dance, that game, there's a Wii version, a Wii U version, and a PS3 and Xbox 360 version of that same goddamn game.
You have the PS2 version and Xbox version.
I'm sure, it's like, really? Like, okay, so it's like anybody who wants to play that thing anywhere can play it. So it's I thought that was
it's Just Dance 18 for Wii. I'm like, what?
It's like, yeah. I'm like, really? Okay, sure. I mean, you know what? All that game really is like motion controls and what is it? Motion controls and music and like video.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not really that graphically intensive. You don't need to worry about.
Who the fuck is still playing it on the Wii? You know,
maybe grandma and grandpa still love they want to get up and just dance, right?
Yeah, right, I guess. Let me move my booty. It's crazy, man. I think I wanted to tell one more story about totally forgetting it. Oh well. But anyway, yeah, so by the way, we're doing a pretty good job with the covering tip. Like I didn't, because usually like last year we only covered one thing a day. We're getting two of them now. But tomorrow, you know what it is.
This is the big boy.
Nintendo.
Oh, the little boy.
Oh man, Nintendo. Oh,
it's only 30 minutes, so
no.
Isn't it?
25.
Oh, cool.
They shaved 5 minutes.
Oh, good. Well, what are they gonna show? Just a bunch of quick sizzle videos, like, and then that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about Nintendo, but quickly, since we have you here and a bunch of you here, 23 people, I want to talk about this resolution bullshit. You guys don't listen to us, man. Like seriously, what the hell is wrong with you? Okay, not you Throwdown guys. Obviously, you guys listen to us. I'm talking about everybody else. Okay, when Scorpio was announced, right? Because fanboys were saying every game, third-party game, 4K 60 frames every game. We said no, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
And we explained why they wouldn't, because basically, why would you put extra resources and money and shit into a version of a game, right? Or not even a version of a game, a patch for a game that is going to be for a system that's going to be small, like in terms of like who bought, who has it and shit. And I was just saying this, because I was like, oh, no one's going to buy Scorpio. I'm like, look at the Pro, right? No one's really going out of their way to do it. What they do is the most you're going to get, right? Most of the time, you're going to slap on some higher end textures and that's it. And I'm being very careful with the wording of higher version textures. I'm not going to say 4K, just higher, and that's what's going on right now. Assassin's Creed Origin that got confirmed, dynamic 4K. You know what that means?
That means that parts of it are not 4K.
Exactly.
Which probably means the shit that's closest to you is going to be 4K, and it's just going to keep going backward, and it's going to get lower resolution.
Yeah. Destiny 2, right? 30 frames a second. We already talked about that. Dynamic resolution as well, and we're not saying this shit, because I know fanboys are using this as fuel against Scorpio. We're trying to tell you this is how development works. They're not going to put any extra effort into shit. We're not going to get returns out of it. The only people that are going to be making true 4K 60 frames per second games are first party games. Other than that, why the hell should Ubisoft put more money on the Scorpio version or the Pro version of a game when the other one's not going to sell as much?
Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
There's so much that needs to go.
Or rather, that version is not going to help them sell more copies.
Exactly. So all it is so if you're going for a smaller grouping of people, so what is going to happen is just they're going to just do the minimal of things to get the thing to work on the 4K side. We said it before, like even with PlayStation Pro, not every single game takes advantage of PlayStation Pro. Some of them are just don't even have the patch.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even work with the boost mode that's on there. So here's the one thing that you will get though. You'll get a general performance hike from a lot of these sorts of games just from being on the damn thing.
Yeah.
So you'll have quicker loading times. But as far as like draw distances, that's all stuff that they need to do. One thing Tony noticed while we were watching the Xbox conference is that all the games that were listed on both sides of the thing are all games that were Pro enhanced games.
Yeah, you know why? Because they already had those assets ready.
They already had it already.
Again, you need to understand that the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 essentially are the same thing. Whatever works for one works on the other. So if they already have these higher version textures, because again, why pull them from the PC when you use the console versions? Go back to that conference. Every single one of those games that says it's been Pro enhanced, with the exception of the first party ones, obviously. They're all Pro enhanced, right? The Xbox X enhanced or whatever. So again, we were telling you this shit, but no one was fucking listening. And another thing we got to point out again, because there was a mini controversy because Metro last night, whatever the new one is called, right?
Metro.
The mini controversy or non-controversy, as I call it, was running on PC. Guys, I hate to tell you this. Every game you see being played up there, it's all on PC. They're all PC. They're
all PCs that are spec'd out to be PlayStation 4s or Xboxes.
Yeah.
That's also what's on the show floor. If you like for at least from what I know with Sony, I think we said this before, Sony usually runs it off of a server in the back, and so that they could easily QA it. Same thing with Xboxes and all their units too. Microsoft and all their units.
We saw that in 1 year. Remember, the game crashed on us and Windows.
The game crashed on us, and then Windows showed up. So what did we do? We used the thing, and then we just relaunched it.
That's it, So I just want you guys to because I see some guys trying to dog on Metro. It's like, oh, it's fake. Guys, every game is made on a PC. So when a game isn't finished yet, they're gonna show you the PC version. Yeah. That's just how it works, man. And then people are trying to say, and this was a while ago, they're like, oh, when you go down to E3, you're not actually playing the console version of the game, you're playing a PC version. No fucking shit. It's just easier for them, Yeah. We tried to explain that to Brett the other day because he thought it was a controversy too. It's like you don't want shit going wrong when you're playing these games, you know? It's safer not to have the actual system there.
Think about it this way. How much is it to make Xboxes and to have a bunch of Xboxes sitting on the thing? it's kind of expensive.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta pull out a bunch of Xboxes and stick them to things.
Yeah,
and connect them up. Why not just have a PC in there and just you already have all these dev PCs. You can easily swap out everything and then do it that way. Or what Sony does, where they just have one central server behind the scenes that controls all the units on the show floor.
Yeah. So yeah, just stop. It's not even a controversy, guys. That's just the way it is, man.
You don't need to worry about that stuff because for the most part, these games are going to come out looking exactly the same. For a game like Metro, again, obviously it's because it's it's running on the PC, so it's probably running on the best of conditions.
Yeah.
So pretty much what you saw was what the PC version of Metro is going to look like, and maybe the Xbox One is going to be somewhere a little bit underneath that.
Yeah, they even said like that it's running like that, and they're going to scale it down for consoles. Remember, Metro is coming out for every console too. Despite what some people will say, Microsoft had their weird.
There's just a lot of like weird like slogan play happening with Microsoft. Everything has the word exclusive or
yeah, because now
Premiere.
we can't say timed exclusive, so we gotta say launch window exclusive, whatever the fuck it is.
How long is the launch window? You don't give any of this information. We should just get like an animus or something like that, or like a little
an abacus.
You get an abacus to go through every single one of this stuff, because they don't tell you any of this information beforehand. They just throw these terms out, and then you just kind of have to friggin' decipher them. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But anyway, that's gonna do it for us. So yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do our Nintendo / day one of E3 impressions. So that's gonna be fun because again, all three of us, me, Manny, and Nash, are gonna split off. So we're gonna have different adventures, and we'll come come back here and let y'all know about them. So it should be pretty fun. I don't know what's gonna happen with Nintendo. I'm still predicting a bunch of 3DS games, but who knows? But anyway, we'll see you next time. Later,
guys.